Hey everyone, this is Brad Kelly, NFL Draft, college football analyst, writer, and founder at the slantroute.substack.com. Today we're going to go through some 2021 NFL Draft quarterback rankings. Make sure you subscribe to this channel using the button in the upper right-hand corner. We're going to get right into these rankings. It's very intriguing, but I think everybody knows who is at the top. Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson, 3-year starter for the Clemson Tigers, national champion as a freshman, only 2 losses in his career as a starting quarterback. Obviously, has great numbers. Tall, has about 6'5", a very mobile player. Great arm. I love his accuracy. I love his ability to throw to all 3 levels. His timing in the pocket. I think he has excellent mechanics as well. He's one of the best quarterback prospects that I've ever evaluated. I think he's probably the best quarterback prospect as far as the NFL is concerned in their grades since Andrew Luck, or possibly even since Peyton Manning. He's as close to a can't miss prospect at the quarterback position as has come into the league in the last 5+ years. Now, that doesn't mean that he's automatically going to be the best quarterback in the NFL, but as far as his floor and his ceiling goes, they're both very high. I think a couple years from now, we're going to be saying Trevor Lawrence is safely a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, likely a top 5 player at the position in the NFL, and he will likely stay there for the length of his career. Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson is the #1 quarterback in this draft, and I think he should be the #1 overall pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Number 2 is kind of where the conversation gets started for a lot of different evaluators. For me, it's Justin Fields from Ohio State. The #1 quarterback coming out of high school, actually ranked just ahead of Trevor Lawrence, and they grew up in the same area of Georgia, actually. He was a 5-star recruit, went to the University of Georgia, played sparingly as a freshman, but even in those limited reps behind Jake Fromm, he produced. And he transferred to Ohio State, started immediately, and since then, he's had excellent production. His touchdown-interception ratio is really just out of this world. His ability to take care of the football is very, very good. There were some games this year we ended up throwing a couple picks, made bad decisions, but over the course of 2 seasons, that's really only happened in two separate games. His accuracy to every level. He has a big arm. I think he can really drive the ball down the field now. Lawrence is a bit better on off-platform type of throws. Fields is a better rhythm passer, first, second read, make an easy decision to get the ball out of his hands quickly. I really like his presence in the pocket, but he also has an ability to extend the play that I think can be really special in the NFL, and that is in the pocket and how he maneuvers it, but also when he escapes the pocket or uses his legs as a runner. Very powerful and a strong player, built sort of like Dak Prescott. I think he's going to be a top quarterback in the NFL, a high-level player, and going into the national championship game against Alabama, I think he has a chance to continue the conversation between him and Trevor Lawrence in the top overall spot. That debate has kind of gone on since they were in high school, and I think if he has another big performance similar to the one that he had against Clemson in the national semifinal, then some teams, possibly Jacksonville, especially if they end up hiring Urban Meyer as their head coach, could lean towards Justin Fields as the #1 quarterback in the draft. Number 3 for me, Zach Wilson of BYU, 6'3", 210 pounds. The thing that stands out about Zach Wilson is his ability to throw off platform. So when his footing isn't necessarily perfect or he's on the move, his arm strength and his arm talent just takes over, and he can put the ball wherever he wants, despite the fact that his footing isn't proper or correct. That stands out a lot because he's on the move a pretty good amount. He will bail for some clean pockets, but on top of that, BYU decided that they were going to kind of structure their offense around Wilson's ability, and they would make quick reads to one side, just a really catch and throw type of read out of shotgun. And if it wasn't there, allow Wilson to now roll to the other way and kind of use that ability to throw off platform to their advantage. He is a cannon for an arm. A lot of these quarterbacks in the top of the class have a big arm, but as far as the ability to change the arm angle, the arm slot when he throws, to throw against pressure, throw it out footing, to also deliver the deep ball when he's able to step up into it. Wilson, he might stand alone in this class, believe it or not. So I think he could be a starter right away. He might be better off sitting a year behind a veteran quarterback, maybe if that Atlanta Falcons or Detroit Lions are able to select him and kind of learn, because I learned the NFL playbook and the passing structure of the NFL, because I think his process can waver at times. And I think that's what separates Justin Fields from Zach Wilson for that in the competition for the number 2 quarterback in the class. Number 3 for me, I think or number 4 for me, excuse me. I think there is a drop off between Wilson and the next group of quarterbacks. I do have to say that I look at Lawrence by himself, not a huge drop, but Fields and Wilson are kind of in their own tier. And then there's another drop before the rest of the quarterbacks in the class, in my opinion. Number 4 is Trey Lance from North Dakota State. 1-year starter at the FCS level. They had a showcase game this year against Central Arkansas. He didn't have a great game, but that was their only game of the season for North Dakota State. So really had 1 year as a starter. Now in that 1 year, North Dakota State went undefeated through the FCS playoffs and won the national championship. But Trey Lance was a redshirt freshman. He had 28 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Now he had some interceptable throws, some dropped interceptions from defenders, but overall, he obviously did a very good job of taking care of the football. Another quarterback who's built similarly to a Dak Prescott or a Jalen Hurts, where he's a very broad-shouldered, powerful, and stout player, strong in the pocket, strong through contact as a runner, and another plus athlete. If you look at his offense at North Dakota State, a lot of their plays come from under center, whereas a guy like Justin Fields and Zach Wilson, they were more predominant shotgun type of players, but Lance kind of was in a little bit more of a natural NFL offense because a lot of their scheme was based off of play action. So that's going to be interesting because I think his play action ability is already at a high level. He's comfortable turning his back to the defense, picking up his reads and making deep throws or intermediate throws. And he's very comfortable while doing that, while other quarterbacks in the top of the class are more shotgun based, and their play action stuff still comes when they're able to look at the defense, which isn't as popular in NFL offenses. Lance has a big arm. He can really drop it in down the field. I love his deep ball accuracy. I love his arm strength. I think that he could do a better job of getting the ball out, making quicker reads in the 3-step and 5-step game. I think that's what really separates the top of the class from him. Now, he's a very special talent, in my opinion. He's a top 10 type of talent. I think his experience needs to be gained, and that's probably going to come in the NFL. I would want him to be on the Patrick Mahomes schedule, if you will, where Mahomes was able to sit for his rookie year behind a veteran starter, get reps late in the season, and then enter year 2 as the bona fide starter quarterback of the future. For me, number 5, Mac Jones from Alabama, playing in the national championship game tonight or on Monday night against Ohio State. A player who is a little bit different from the top 4. I don't think love his trajectory and his timing on his throws when it comes to pushing the ball deep. He's an on-schedule thrower. He's an accurate thrower. He can really run an offense, understand the system, and keep the offense ahead of schedule. Another player who's comfortable turning his back to the defense. Alabama is more of a pistol-based play action. Now, that's a little bit different from being under center. However, there's still the aspect of turning away from the defense and then locating, picking up your reads, and making the throw. Translates a little bit better than the shotgun type of play action. So that's where he kind of fits into that realm. I think he's a quarterback who's going to be very precise with his throws, good decision maker in the NFL. I just don't know if he's ever going to elevate an NFL offense. What's going to be a big sticking point in his evaluation is actually might end up being the NFL Combine or his pro day, where they get readings on his athleticism and the arm strength as far as miles per hour on his throws go. Does he have the arm strength to drive it through windows, tighter windows in the NFL? And does he have the athleticism to translate a little bit better and be anything more than just a pure pocket passer in the NFL? That is kind of what separates him from those top 4. Number 6 for me, Kyle Trask, quarterback of Florida, Heisman finalist this season. A big body, listed at 6'5", 240 pounds, but limited foot speed, limited power as a runner. He's just a pure pocket passer, in my opinion. He has a skill set that would have fit better back maybe 20 years ago in the early 2000s. Not a huge arm, good decision maker, understands timing very well, has really sound mechanics in the pocket, but I'm not completely convinced that he's going to elevate a passing offense in the NFL either. He reminds me a lot of Matt Schaub during his time as the Texans starting quarterback, a big body, but that doesn't necessarily mean he has a huge arm. And if you remember Matt Schaub, especially late in his time with the Texans, he wasn't driving the ball from the far hash as well as when he was younger, and that was ending up in some pick sixes and leaving the ball behind wide receivers. I think that's going to be an issue for Kyle Trask in the NFL. If you keep passes over the middle, he has excellent touch, excellent timing, excellent accuracy, everything within 20 yards. I'm just not convinced that he's ever going to be a consistent deep ball thrower or far hash thrower. Now, there are starter traits because of everything I previously mentioned, but I don't know if he's ever going to be a player that can take an offense without excellent weapons and upgrade them. If he was a quarterback of the New England Patriots, to use them as an example this year, I think the passing offense would not have found success because of the lack of weaponry. If he was the starting quarterback for, say, the Tampa Bay Bucks this year, when they have guys like Evans, Godwin, AB, and Gronk, then I think that's an offense where he could thrive and keep everything on schedule and be a precise quarterback. Number 7 for me, and this will be the last quarterback I talk about, Jamie Newman, currently at the University of Georgia. He transferred there, but then opted out of the season, previously of Wake Forest, going based off his Wake Forest tape. Another guy who can really chuck it, can drive it through any tight windows over the middle, has a big arm. Another player with good power as a runner. Wake Forest ran a lot of shotgun, zone read type of plays, a very slow developing zone type of read. And oftentimes Newman would keep and then get behind the running back. So he's a strong runner, has a lot of experience there. There are just some question marks with his translation to the NFL because in the games against better defenses, his numbers definitely took a big nosedive. Now, that's typical of a lot of college quarterbacks, but most of his production came when throwing to guys like Sage Surratt, who should be a top 100 pick at wide receiver, and Scotty Washington, both about 6'4 plus against kind of the worst defenses that they played. He's definitely a fearless quarterback, in my opinion. He's going to trust his wideouts, but I don't know if he has that type of play-to-play accuracy and anticipation of windows to continually keep offenses on schedule in the NFL. He's not in the same style of quarterback as a Mac Jones or Kyle Trask. He's more like the Trey Lance type of style, but I think he does everything at a slightly lower level than a Trey Lance. I think there is a pretty decent gap from the Mac Jones, Kyle Trask tier to the Jamie Newman type of tier. He's more of a mid-day 2 type of pick for me, a developmental prospect, if you will. Ideally, he's a backup, potentially a starter down the line. Not somewhat similar to what the Colts hope to get out of Jacob Eason, who they drafted last season. Those are my top 7 quarterbacks for the 2021 NFL draft after Cincinnati quarterback Desmond Ridder decided he was going to go back to school earlier today. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what your top 7 is, or even your top 10. And as we get closer to the draft, these things will finalize and we'll know exactly where it is. Look out for more videos and rankings like this on this channel. Thank you for watching.